Aquaponics is actually a combination of two different technologies between aquaculture, which is intensive fish farming, and hydroponics, which is growing plants without soil. It's only been around for about 35 years. It really is the cutting edge of intensive food production.
I'm a small businessman in a sustainable business with an earth ethic. I'm an aquaponics farmer. I knock out 1,000 plants every week at $2 a head.
Hey, you should have been here a month ago, man. A month ago, this whole thing was filled with green like that, with no white spots.
Aquaponics is huge. For Hawaii, it's huge because of the amount of food that we import here. Over 90% of the food we eat is imported from outside sources. So we're very reliant on that, being in one of the most geographically isolated places in the world. We do feeding, planting, harvesting. We sell at the market on Saturdays.
We produce a lot of 7 different types of lettuces, and we also grow bok choy, cilantro, and basil for some of the local restaurants.
It's a bio-integrated system that combines the fish and the plants together.
I say it's like an equation. You have tilapia fish, worms, over microorganisms. That equals wonderful food and chem-free.
The fish produces the waste product, which is actually being absorbed by the plants as nutrients. And the plants actually strip out the harmful toxins and that's in the water. So the water is being reutilized again by the fish. So it's 100% recirculating. Everything that we do are completely natural and chemical free. We don't use any pesticides in our systems because it will harm the fish. We don't use any herbicides as well because we're not dealing with any weeds.
It uses about 90% less water than normal soil farming. In the entire world, I think 70% of water usage is devoted to farming.
In my system, I've designed it so that the water system is off the grid. We don't depend on the city water or county water. We use rainwater catchment. It keeps the water in these tanks as a reserve. And so the whole tank system is connected to my aquaponics system with a float valve. So when the entire system of the water goes down due to evaporation, the float valve will drop and then it will release the amount of water that's being lost and replenish it back up to the normal level.
Mainly, there's not a lot to do once you get the system set up. It's an artificial ecosystem, so it takes care of itself.
Everything's automated. Very little work is involved in it.
We kind of just maintain, make sure everything's running smoothly, make sure it's nothing clogged.
So the production basically starts with fingerlings of any freshwater fish. You can use catfish, bass, or koi, or even ornamental fish. Whatever fish there's a market for. So therefore we're growing fish, which is protein, and vegetables at the same time. Plants got to grow in something, okay? They have to grow in some kind of media for the roots to hang on to. We can use lava cinder, which we have plenty of that in Hawaii. So that's what I chose to use, lava cinder. We call them ebb and flow grow beds. Obviously, every time you harvest the plant, you're going to leave some debris behind. So what you do is you actually introduce composting worms. So we use Indian blue worms, and we introduce them into the beds, which actually digest. It's really cool. It digests all the organic matter and liquefies it, and then it turns into more nutrients into the system for the plants to grow.
They eat their weight every day. So you have a pound of worms, you can have a pound of waste. It's a sustainable business. It's a business with an earth ethic, and it's very profitable.
Lettuce normally grows from seed to harvest size about 90 days. And we can do it in 42 days. We can actually grow 8 times more produce as comparing to traditional soil farming.
Yeah, it's basic math.
We are reusing our hydrogen balls and net pots.
We start with fingerlings, okay? So you go, well, where are we going to get fingerlings? Well, that's a good question. a lot of, because the technology is so new, for instance, for our island, there aren't any places where there's a hatchery where they produce fingerlings, and that's where we come in. We actually just finished installing a hatchery, which we can actually grow 1,000 fries per month. And then what we'll do is we distribute those fries to different aquaponics facilities or people who want to do it in their backyard or commercially.
Anyone can do this, you know? Anyone can do this. Anyone can be an aquaponics farmer. It takes a little bit of training, and then just you sit back and you watch your garden grow.
The thing I like the most is that we work in waist level instead of getting on our hands and knees toiling the soil all the time.
It's really big, and it's an innovative new way to farm, and you know, future.
Aloha.